Hello, and welcome to this week's Exploration in Consciousness with the Earth Nouveau Hub. Today, we're going to talk about the incoming energies of the year of the dragon. And in the Chinese New Year, the Chinese New Year starts with after the new moon happens on February 9th. So technically, it starts February 10th this year. And this year is the wood dragon. And the wood dragon is ruled by the energy of, well, the tree, right? Sometimes they call it wood and sometimes they call it tree. And the tree is this energy of very like quickly rising. Think about like how fast bamboo or a climbing vine grows. So we're going to be going through a lot of growth this year, I think, in many different ways. Um, the also just talk a minute about the galactic calendar, the 13 moon calendar. On February 10th, we're going to have the red solar skywalker, which is going to set an intention also for this year of the dragon, right? It's almost like the dharma of the year in a way. And so I'm just going to read the mantra for the red solar skywalker because I think it's a really good one. I pulse in order to explore, realizing wakefulness. I seal the output of space with the solar tone of intention. I'm guided by the power of universal water, and I am a galactic activation portal. Enter me. So just take a breath and feel the energy, that powerful energy of exploration, of waking up, of wakefulness. You know, this intention says to me that as this dragon energy comes in, a lot of people are going to wake up this year, setting intentions, right? And the solar tone, the 9 tone, really holds the energy of the grids. So we're getting a lot of support, I think, in this year of the dragon to help Mother Earth, right? Stabilize the grids and the higher frequency energy. So these are just some of the things that were coming up for me. So the dragon is courageous, joyful, confident, intelligent, lucky, prosperous, and is action related. So, you know, we've been coming out of this energy of the earth rabbit. So as we're just going to say goodbye to the rabbit. Bye-bye, rabbit. Bye-bye. This was a dog toy that my friends gave me this year, but I didn't let my dog have it because he was too cute for that. So lucky little earth rabbit is we're saying goodbye to him, but this opening this past year with the rabbit, right? This earth rabbit has allowed us to connect to earth, right? Over this past year. And now the dragon is about being more action oriented, I think, towards what's going on with earth. Hi, Alfredo. So we're activating our intelligence, we're activating our courage. I think all of us here, right, have been awake for a while, but it's this matter of stepping into our power, I think, more fully. And the dragons, you know, these ideas about the wood dragon, right, will bring this energy of spring, this energy of new beginnings, like connecting with this energy at dawn is a really good time to help bring in that wood dragon energy, the new growth, communing with nature, giving and receiving, allowing that community. So as we begin to sort of work this year in more community, I think it's going to be, you know, a really, really exciting time. So the dragons were created from the one of the primal sound fields. So you think about the energy of the threefold flame. You have like the angels and then the dragons and the whales, right? Coming from the gold order of the seraphi or seraphim. So, this is going to be an exciting year. And what I'm feeling energetically is just sort of like this continual rising in energy, sort of pulsing and rising in actionable energy. It almost feels like we have more raw material to create with as we're building up to this year of the dragon. So I don't know if anyone has any comments about what they're feeling with this rising energy, but it feels very strong and very, very palpable to me as it's coming in.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I like what you just said, the raw materials, because that makes me think of the elemental materials like water and fire and air and all of that. And I think those materials become more available because we've just done so much clearing, right? And I think the name of the game is creating a new reality. And this is what dragons are all about. They are reality programmers, right? And I think with all the duality, with all the polarization, with all the karmic upheaval and everything, they were almost like everything, really, like our origins. Everything got pushed away, pushed aside. And this year, as you say, I mean, there's definitely, literally, you see the dragons everywhere. They're just coming out. And of course, it is the year of the dragon, so it's all a bit pushed into our face as well. But I see them in the clouds. I see them in the trees, and they're appearing really everywhere. And I think it's also, as you say, that stepping into our power is because lots of us have dragon DNA, you know? I mean, obviously, if in anything like this, AB, Andrew Bartzis has, I think he's got it on his website. He's done lots and lots and lots of dragon discussions. What is the dragon and everything? And there's a lot of information there that one can use to really, nip into and see what works or not. But I remember him saying at the time that, lots of us do have dragon DNA. And of course, as the DNA is switching on, our powers, like you say, Tanya, are switching on at the same time.
One of the interesting books that I've been reading is The Voyagers by Ashiana Dean. And one of the things, it's interesting. It's almost like like an org chart, right? Coming down through the eclectic sound fields. And it's what she says. So the unici is the central point of all union, right? The eternal consciousness of the one all, right? The source. And then the yanas are like the three energies that were created, right? And birthed from that source. And they're the eternal collectives of consciousness projected by source God to form the three primal sound fields. And then those primal sound fields get activated into the 15th dimensional matrix and seeded as uh, energetic consciousness. And so she talks about the three yanas, the grande yanas of the first primal sound field, which are like the blue flame yanas, the Wachiyanas, the yanas of the secondary primal sound field, which are the gold order yanas, which are the yanas that the dragons are descended from. So like the blue flames are the angels, and the gold order are the dragons, and then the violet yanas are the whales. So we have these, etheric consciousness that then go down into the dimensional realities and create, right? So then the dragons get created as the seraphi or the seraphim. And then, of course, like everything that happens, the energy drops in dimensional frequency, drops in dimensional frequency, drops in dimensional frequency, and then we all of a sudden we're here in duality. So I just thinking about that primal energy of creation, right? Where the energy bursts out from the source God and becomes these beings of consciousness that then energetically seed consciousness into this universe. I'm just going to sit with that concept for a minute because I think that's a lot to blah. But I think it's really, really beautiful, beautiful story of our origin, right? And so, like you were saying, Martina, where AB was saying that a certain percentage of us have dragon DNA. I mean, I would say that it's probably 33%, right? If third of us are, angelic human descended, and a third of us are dragon descended, and a third of us are whale people descended. That's a really wonderful high percentage. But I've been talking to the first time I ever experienced a dragon in this lifetime. I was meditating on the summer solstice in 2012 on Mount Shasta. And I was just just communing with the energy of the mountain and sitting with my guides and saying, okay, I'm here. I'm grounded. I know I'm a grounding cord. So whatever needs to happen, let it. And I felt this energy of almost like the mountain shifted. It kind of went like click, click. And then a giant white dragon flew out of the top of Mount Shasta. And it was like this energy, this beautiful, like white, primal dragon energy was all of a sudden available. And it was like the hair stood up on my head and on my arms. And I just felt like this electricity of energy that just like whipped through the whole area. Like when you drop a pebble in the pond, you see those ripples go outward. And I, I just said to myself, "Wow, that was really cool. What's next? What's going to happen with that energy?" And so, ever since then, I started, meditating with dragons on Mount Tam, which is in the Bay Area near me. And then I had a dragon who made himself aware, and I realized that he was my dragon. He was like my buddy. He's been with me always. And so now, fast forward 10 years later, he's now part of this dragon council. And when I was first originally communing with him, I had dreams, all kinds of dreams, where we were in dragon school together, where we would basically sit like you would in primary school in front of a chalkboard, and we had an elder dragon teaching us. And I don't know what he was teaching us, right? The laws of the universe or all kinds of, light language and probably, how we descended from the gold order Seraphi. But yeah, the universal laws, right, are held in place by also the Seraphi. So the dragons are very present in that energy of universal law as well. And so, just to kind of like reel it back for a second to this reality that we live in now, right? There's so many books and movies that are about dragons. There are these best-selling selling books right now called Iron Flame and Fourth Wing that are about a dragon rider academy. And one of the things that I realized in these books, right, is that dragons, right, they can directly communicate to you. They can show you pictures, they can speak in languages, they can communicate with other dragons, right? And so I think they're also helping us open up our telepathic nature.
So let's just, Tanya, for people who don't understand what you're saying, how do you communicate with a dragon? Let's just throw in a little bit of How would you do that? Dreamtime, yes, that's a different story because that can happen instantly. But during your day to day, how would you how would you communicate with a dragon and get information and share information? That obviously goes to everyone.
So I think what we'll do in a little bit is we'll do a little meditation to help facilitate
Mhm.
that. But I mean, I think that if you're an adept meditator, right, just sitting quietly and listening, right, setting intention and asking for that dragon to communicate with you, right? We all have a dragon guide, just like we have an angel guide and a whale guide, right? These are part of our birthright, our birth ability, right? As a human incarnated, spirit incarnated in a human body, right? We're going to come down through a specific lineage. I mean, like for me, my lineage has come through the Druidic Celtic energy line. So, I have memories of those past lifetimes where I was, working with dragons in that area. And but for practical purposes, it's like communicating with your spirit guides, communicating with um like what was the name of your little amoeba that you were talking about
Oh,
last week?
Trocarius.
Yeah, Drakkar. So communicating in that way,
Mm,
right? It's like holding space for yourself,
mm.
getting quiet. And I think really mainly it's about listening, right? I think in our culture, we're so used to being broadcast at, right? We've got social media and TV and radio and Wi-Fi, right? We're getting continually broadcasted to by this energy from this right dimension. But when
Yeah.
we sit quietly and just set the intention to listen to that higher frequency space, then it will come through.
It's
Yeah. I
almost
mean, I think
yeah.
part of it's being grounded and really like being in your own energy field. I think that's a really important part of then knowing that the connection that you're having is one for your greatest good. So setting that intention, I think also is important.
Yeah, I think it's like, as you're saying, you're shutting out the outside distraction and you're going into the inner world. And when we say inner world, it's like it's an imaginative process in the beginning. Allow yourself to imagine things, allow yourself to make shit up. That this is really important because I remember in the beginning of when I did timeline therapy, it was like, oh, I'm not getting it, I'm not getting it, I'm not getting it. And then I remember the teacher saying, just make it up. And I'm like, what? Make it up? This is cheating, right? I didn't realize what it meant to go within and just make it up. And then as you keep making it, it's almost like an internal practice. And I think it's really important to look at that, especially now where we're losing the time concept and the space concept. And if you think about it, as soon as you go within, there is no space. And as soon as you collapse space, there's no time. So you're going beyond the constraints, the restrictions of time and space. And this is where, lots of those dragon energies are available to us. So lots of this other unseen world is available to us outside of time and space. And of course, we have this technology that we can be both. We can be the entangled and the unentangled observer, and as we go internally and collapse, and literally, I think, because I've been working with this a little bit, just allow yourself to collapse space, because every relationship be this now a relationship with your dragon or your relationship with your husband or your child or your colleague, is creates a space in between A and B. And that's the separation. So as we are just internally, there is no separation. There is no separation with your angels, with your guides, with your dragons, with anyone really. And as you allow yourself to collapse that distance between A and B, almost that relationship, you automatically go into connection beyond, because there is just that oneness where everything becomes available. And then there is no time either. So it's not a matter of, because think about it, you go from your house to go get some groceries, right? Now you collapse the distance between your house and the groceries, then the time collapses at the same time, right? So everything's available right there, right now. And that's just for people who like to have a bit like me, like to, okay, I need to sort of understand what I'm doing here. And all of a sudden, as you collapse this time and space construct, you can, everything's available to you.
Yeah, I think a part of being able to do that is just getting out of your own way, right? Getting out of those mental constructs that we've been taught by society or the ones we're supposed to live in, right? When we can like pop out of that box, that way of thinking, then we have this expansiveness, this timelessness that we can connect to these, I don't know, waves of unseen energy that are coming from higher dimensional frequency, right? That are who we are, right? This is only a little tiny fraction of all that we are.
Exactly. It's almost, for me, and again, it goes almost I don't even want to associate it to the mind, because for me, the mind is actually in both time and space and outside at the same time, simultaneously. For me, it's like using, as you say, using our technology to a greater extent, to perceive ourselves inside and outside, connected and disconnected, separate and not separate. It's not even a mind thing, because the mind's everywhere anyway. So I asked myself the question the other day, in order to communicate with the unseen, what do I need to work on? The heart, the mind, the gut. And I was just getting, it's like, it's the technology, the reciprocity of technology between this technology and the universe. And it goes beyond the mind. The mind is not letting you not do it. It's just saying, yes, I can. It's the technology is there. You switch it on, switch it off. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it makes, in a way, it brings you immediately into everything is available to you right now as you cut out the time and space. And then when you do that, it's almost like when you don't have to take any medicine. It's like, whoa, everything's there. The dragons are flying around, and everything's right there.
In my
And
research,
I mean, I think, oh, go ahead, Irina.
oh, thank you. In my research about this energy and this presence and even topic about dragons, through Andrew's material, I got like my concept of understanding what energy is this. And then I was researching deeper, and I found this guy. He is geologist, and he's explaining, his topic was named, I will put a link to that video with interesting in my case information about dragon energy that is expanded what I got from Andrew material, kind of like grounded in understanding what this energy dragon energy, because everything is energy. So dragon energy, what is means actually, I discovered for me. What is coming out from my research, that actually what we call dragon energy, it's a creative energy that is place of your origin given to you at the moment of birth. So what Tanya was saying about Seraphim's energy that is coming from universe to earth, because remember, Andrew was saying about earth dragons and some dragons that are not from earth, that are present here in our reality on earth. Like Martina was saying, some percentage, and Tanya as well, some percentage people have this dragon DNA in us. So when I got that video from that geologist, I kind of understood, it made clear for me that whenever is your point of origin, you have connection to that creative energy that we see as dragons, because in our human way on earth, if you look at any river with many streams from river from above, yeah, it looks like we painting dragons. It's the same. It's like, yeah, flying something like a snake thing, like something, elongated with some feathers, with some, going things out from that main body. So, and what I got from explanation of this guy, this is that almost all the time we paint and we talk about dragons with flame of fire. Almost all the time. And fire, it's a creative energy. So in our human way, it was easiest to see, maybe in our ancient time, this energy, and we call it dragon, and we paint this specific way, this creature. But it's very interesting because we all have connection to that energy, and that energy, moment of our birth here on earth, we have connection to the dragon energy from earth, besides DNA dragon energy that we may get from coming from everywhere, living in a human experience. So to me it was very interesting, because it's actually very grounded explanation. What is that energy, dragon energy? This is energy of origin of your birth, or where you lived whenever you had experience in universe or even multiverse. So this is kind of like made for me more grounded understanding about that energy. And in relation to question how to connect to that energy, yes, like Martina already said, it's not anything that is narrative kind like rules or narrative line of experience. There you won't find. It's only maybe people who can translate into narrative that original energy, natural energy. But if you look at any art or at nature, this is, in my understanding, the easiest way to connect, to invoke, remembering in us about that present in us, because it is, like you guys said, it's all the time in us. And we do have different type of dragon energies. For sure, every human being, Mother Earth energy of dragon, for sure. And then those who were landing here, those energies of those dragons, of their origin. So it's so multi-faceted experience. Yeah. I will put link to that video in our chat, and you can look at that if you're interested.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just going to sit with that for a second, because, I think that that each of us has our own like experience of the world, right? Where with the seen and with the unseen, right? Think about your journey through life and what has guided you to be here now in this moment, right? So this energy of experience is also partially guided by your dragon, guided by your guardian angel, right? Guided by your higher self. Yeah, so just allowing that knowingness, I think, is a really powerful thing. When you allow that knowingness, then it allows an openness that that I don't know, permeates through your being, I think.
You
Yes.
talked earlier on, Tanya, you talked earlier on
I don't know
about
what just happened.
what happened. Can you hear?
Hold on a second. I don't know why something is playing and I can't stop it.
We can't hear it.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
No, I clicked on the link and it started started automatically playing. There we go. No, I don't want to play that. There we go.
Later. Yeah, later.
Oh, computers are so fun.
They are of their own minds.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to say, in terms of, you were saying earlier on, the ethericness and, turning into materialistic, into matter, and all of that. And also you mentioned the mountains, because lots of the times the dragons are obviously depicted in the movies in the mountains, and they're very much also related to the metal. It's also like, I think Irina said, when you have the metal, the way it is structured in the mountains, and that's all like dragon energy in a way, that strength of the gold and the different metals that are there. But I also think, since we are going through that meshing and merging of our physical and etheric bodies, we're becoming more etheric, right? So, and this is also why we are just becoming more aware of that dragon energy. And you know what? You could even look at it as it's not that you have a dragon in your bloodstream swimming or something like that. It's a quality, just like human is a quality. And I think that if somebody has an issue with, can't visualize what a dragon, how do I relate to that, think of it as a quality. And it's a good way of looking at it. So what does, when you look at a dragon, like one of those mindfulness meditations, you just look at the picture of a dragon. What do you see? What stands out for you? What do you perceive? And these are all qualities that you can then start obviously seeing in the earth, on the earth, but also within yourself.
In my understanding, I'm sorry, Sandrine, go ahead.
No, just right on that subject, because in Asia, when I'm talking about Asia, I'm talking about Vietnam, because I spent a lot of time there, and I immersed quite a lot into the cultural as well. And the Lunar New Year is really something that the celebration I absolutely enjoy. It's total madness, but I absolutely enjoy it. But the dragon, what is a dragon? For them, the story is that the dragon is actually made out of all the different animals. You have the pig is in there. You have the cock, the chickens is in there. The serpent is in there. So actually, you can look at all the virtues from these different animals, and that's how the dragon in one of the tales has been constructed, with all the elements of all these different animals. So sometimes when you also look at the temples, you see these little figurines that are sitting on the end of the roofs, you know, like the guardians. And actually there where are the most guardians is the most holiest of the place. But you can also see that those are the different animals that then in the end, if you look at it from the side, it makes up a dragon sometimes, you know, because of the sloping of the roofs going. It's just like fascinating. Once you have seen it, you just see it everywhere, you know, and then you also get it that it's everywhere in Asia a little bit. The force and the dragon.
Probably at time when this observation was happening, what you are sharing, Sandrine, of people at that time. So it was hard for people maybe associate that creative energy, that spirit of place of origin with humans, and it was easier with animals because they are more clear, they are without agenda, they are simpler. So it was maybe more transparent for people to recognize that creative energy in animals than in humans, and maybe it's connected to that.
You know, and having also worked with ethnic minorities and also animistic ethnic minorities, there is no distinction between an animal and a human. Both have their values in the life, you know. Both, you need the one to survive with the other, or you need the other to so that the other can survive. So it's more like this harmonic. It's like a little bit in when you look at, you know, the Indian iconography as well. Nobody is afraid of the bad blue demons, you know, or having a blue goddess that is screaming at you. You know, nobody's really afraid of it because it's just so natural, because it's part of what we are. We can be very good and happy and bumpy with like you know, the elephant boy, but you know, on the other hand, you have Shiva and you have Kali and you have Durga, who's just slashing everyone, you know, but everybody understands the mythical relationship with it, that it has nothing to do with warring in a bad sense. And I also do believe in the Asian, it's just similar, you know, everybody understands from innately, you know, this relationship between these various, you know, like a dragon is never seen as something fearful, you know, it's venerated in a sense. Like look at the picture. This is the one from the Forbidden City in Beijing. They always look like they are aggressive, but no, in the end, no, they're actually smiling, kind of, you know. They are just, you know, showing their power in a sense, but in a good way. And I'm
Playful.
Playful.
Yep.
Well,
yep.
and that's one of the things that like I was writing down, like, okay, what do I know about dragons? I know that they're playful, right? I know that they're joyful. I know that they're shapeshifters. They can appear as a puff of smoke. They can appear as a cloud, or like Martina was saying, right? As a tree, as sand, as water, as, you know, as like a primal mist or a fog. Can see dragon energy in all of these things. And when I was talking to the Dragon Council, that's what they were saying. We are present. We are present in the air, in the clouds, in the water, in the trees, in the earth, right? This energy is all around us. And maybe we can't physically touch it, right? But we can touch it. We can touch it with our heart and our spirit. It's right here. Right. And that message that came through from the Dragon Council, like here and there, they've been just like giving me bits of information, right, over the past, you know, since I started talking with them about a month ago. And they're saying that now their energy is much more available to us because of the rising frequency of Earth. Right? We're getting into this, you know, etheric, higher dimensional, energetic fluidity. And now that energy and communication is much more available to us. We can hear them better now because we're just raising our frequency. So I don't know. I think that's really exciting. I feel like, Irina, you were you're talking about fire, right? And how, like, you see the dragon breathing fire, and it's a creative energy. It's also a destructive energy, right? It's like Shiva, right? When Shiva does the cosmic dance, right? There's destruction, but then there's creation that comes from that. So there's a cyclical nature of life that's supported, I think, by this energy. And that's really exciting to me, I think.
It's like natural state of Mother Earth now coming and overriding narrative of social narrative, those principles. And that's why maybe your counsel saying that is available easier for us now. I would say in relation to fear, like you said, Shiva screaming, Kali screaming, and it's kind like related to fear energy. And then we recognize it's a dance, actually. It's a dance with powers, with some flows of energies. Yeah, we were choosing for a while to explore everything around us through that vibration, what we call fear. And in the beginning, just to access to those representatives of energies who were co-creating inner fear from us and for us. And then we eventually come to that neutrality or to that expansion of energy of creation when it is no fear, no nothing, no even any definition. It's only dance and movement and forever existence and forever change.
Yeah. I think of, I mean, all of the literature, and I'm thinking specifically of George R. Martin's Game of Thrones, right? His first book was called Dance of Dragons, or Dance with Dance of Dragons. And this energy, right? Like, think about the story of the people in Game of Thrones, right? They had these beautiful, massive dragons that they bonded with, and that then they exploited the power, exploited the power, exploited the power. The dragons got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, right? Until they weren't useful because their energy was being exploited, right? So I just think that's really
narrative
interesting.
step in the picture. Narrative, social narrative, agenda for our experience override at that point everything that was natural and naturally present, ever present, all the time in any reality. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's almost like we have to back up out of that, right? And sit in this energy of the unseen and unknown, right? And trust. I think that's one of the most difficult things. I was talking to my niece yesterday, and she's like, "Well, how do you know, like, that your intuition is right?" Said, "You know what? You just have to trust yourself." It's always that first flush of intuition that comes through. And then you think, "Oh, why did I think that? That's a silly thing to think. It must be wrong. I can't," and I mean, I've become expert at following my intuition over these many, many years. But, to explain that to someone who's, just graduated from college and, like, is now in this space of figuring out life, like, it's that it always goes back to trusting your own knowingness, letting go of the doubt, right? And not allowing your doubt to invalidate your experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like you were mentioning shape shifting, right? And again, shape shifting, we've been talking about shape shifting in the last couple of shows, actually. It's everything, all the qualities that we associate with the dragon have something to do with our primordial capacities that are linked so closely to the universal laws and universal capabilities and regeneration and infinity and all of that. I think this is part of why this dragon myth is coming back here, because we're starting to switch on all of that again. And this is, you know, something to really embrace, just like Tanya so beautifully, and you can see how animated she is. She really embraces the qualities of that. You know, it's a joyfulness, a blissfulness. And do you know what? They are teachers. So sometimes they're a little tricky as well. I mean, my experience, I remember it was in 2018, I think, in LA. We were just doing our medicine journey there, and we were staying in a nice place all together, friends. And I had a dream, and I had this dragon in the dream. It was an exhausting dream. I was preparing for a class, for a session, and I liked everything. The bed was set and this was set. And then this dragon came in and messed up the entirety of the room. And I said, "Are you crazy?" And I said, "Oh my God." And he was like, you know, he was so big, he took up the entire room, and with his big tail in the back, like whoosh, 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 everything, this. And I remember waking up in the morning, and I shared this with my friends. I said, "I am absolutely exhausted. I tried to get this thing out of my room. Saying, why are you doing this to me? You're supposed to be my friend," and all that. And the teaching obviously was surrender, lighten up. Does the bed really need to stay there? Does that pillow really need to look like this? You just fuck it up. Just, you know, allow yourself to be like that. So there was a great teaching, which I never forgot, because it was so strong. You know, it was such an experience in that dream. And it took me some time to figure it out. But this is where they come in as teachers. They have such deep qualities, you know. And of course, they have the form. Sometimes, you know, we misidentify them with snakes, right? With a serpent, because they're all about transformation. This is why they come in, because this is the energy of transformation.
Yes. And Jen typed in the chat that the dragons said they themselves didn't get smaller. They became less available to humans as they became less worthy of their energy. Right. So I think this goes back to the pure heart. I listened to a podcast that Jen posted from her friend, the Astral Hour, and they were talking to Z from Earth Star Academy, which is she's really, really connected to the energy of the dragons, a really fascinating young woman, young mother who's really, you know, bringing in this light and love. But she was saying that the dragons will connect with anyone who's pure of heart, right? And that, you know, just goes back to me to you know, holding the innocent heart within ourselves, right? Holding that innocence of the child, like the joy of exploration, the love for life, the joie de vivre, right? That is excitement, that is excitement for exploration and creation, you know. So I think that's, if you want to connect with your dragon, I think that's a really good place to start. Like let go of the encumbrances of adulthood, right? Obligations, all of those, you know, bills that we have to pay, and the work that we're supposed to do, and, you know, get back to the joy of life, that joy of being here. And then that energy is more available.
Yeah, it wasn't available because it couldn't be shown. It's a bit like if you think of the planet ship Nibiru. Yeah, they had, when they took it out of focus and nobody talked about it anymore, then there was absolutely no ways for them to come back into our awareness, you know. Nowadays people start talking about Nibiru, you know, and the planet ship and things like that. So, you know, that didn't mean it wasn't really there. It was there somewhere. We just literally didn't invite it through intention and focus, because that is the capacities that we have. It's all about intention and focus.
Mhm.
today, isn't it? You know, but for the dragons, I think in particular, for any these higher energies, we had to shift. As we know, it's like even certain extra dimensionals can't come through in the material because they couldn't stand the emotional energies, all that stressful energy of the emotions. And as we are starting to get ourselves sorted out and get more neutral when it comes to all this emotional stuff, and get stronger and clear the emotional body, all of this is coming through now. So it's intention. Sometimes it's just focus and intention, and that playfulness, as you say, Tanya, and just pretend, start playing. This is my dragon. Get yourself. I got a dragon bracelet here.
Mm.
That kind of thing. These little things to just remind yourself of stuff.
Right.
You know, I find these things.
My dragon pendant.
Well, here you go. Here you go.
There we go.
Sometimes it's just that you put that on, and that keeps reminding you, and that draws the energy in, because this is how it works. It's do you know what? It's that simple. And that's why sometimes let's not overcomplicate it, you know. And also, you know, we can learn so much about it, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to experience. Just before you go to bed, invite them in. Say, hey, I need a dream with a dragon, you know, whatever it is. Let's get moving in this direction. And then, you know, it's like we've been talking about the way everything's getting a bit more fluid, and you know, we're starting to be more natural in our movements and everything. Then when you look at the dragonfly, even in the movies, obviously there is this fluidity to it, you know, that non-linearity. So all these good things that we've been learning about what we're getting into and what's coming back, rather what is our birthright really, is depicted by the dragon, and the strength and the mysticism that's attached to it.
Love that. Yeah. So, I mean, how can we be actionable with it? You know, I was thinking about all of the, you know, fictional information, right, that's come through in movies, right? Years ago, you had the Christopher Paolini series that started with Aragon. That's the Inheritance series. So, you know, he was just like a 22-year-old kid from Montana who started writing these books about dragons, you know, like 400, 500, 600-page books, big ones. And the new ones I was talking about, which are similar along those lines of Iron Flame, Fourth Wing. There's the animated movies, How to Train Your Dragon, right? You've got the Game of Thrones, got the Never Ending Story. That was years and years ago, about the rehabilitation of a dragon back into joy. Got Raya and the Last Dragon, which was a recent movie. There was a Netflix series called The Dragon Prince, which is really an interesting one. But all of these stories, right, bring the mythology back into our conscious awareness, back into the realm of possibilities in this lower dimensional realm that our physical bodies inhabit. So I invite, you know, I love watching anything about dragons, because it calls that connection back to us. You know, Jen is amazing. I like see all of the art, right, that she posts and the connection that she has, you know, and the dragons that she draws. It's almost like they're talking to you. So if she can maybe talk about that, if she can talk.
Yeah, I can.
That's cool. Okay.
Sorry, I just couldn't have my video on yet. Yeah, the dragons that I draw are ones that like come in to talk to me, and they want to be seen. So some of them are kind of hammy, right? Like they want to be seen, and the more people that see them, the more people that they can integrate with, that they can interact with and communicate with. And it brings more of the dragons into like other people's consciousness, into Muggles' consciousness, right? And starts to help them shift. And so even in the acrylic pours, like the dragons that are around me usually will come out through the paint. And I always find that fascinating, what comes through the paint, because you don't have much control over it on like an acrylic pour, but whatever's in my field or whatever's talking to me at the time always comes through the paint.
Yeah, I love that.
You know, Jen, I've looked up the other day, because I looked, I worked with this reciprocity of technology, right? And then I looked up in the dictionary technology, and technology is actually technicus, yeah, from Latin, and it means art. So when you say it's like what comes through is your technology through the hands pouring brings through the art. And again, this is like and what is the technology? Well, the DNA, the signature, and all of that. So it's like the specific signature frequency that you carry, that you pour out through the technology that turns into art. And that's the reciprocity of that technology, where you're interacting, with the dragons. They're allowing themselves to be poured through that technology, and everything.
I love that. I have a friend who's very into doing like AI art and bringing all these words into this AI program to create art. And I had in a session a 22nd dimensional dragon that came into me, and it was absolutely beautiful, and it was so complex that I thought I could never draw this. Like it's the plating on its chest was like Vogel crystals reflecting like rainbow colors, like diamond. Like it was a diamond frequency is what the dragon felt like. And I've held it in my memory, but I haven't been able to put it to paper yet, just because it's so complex. And so I got to thinking, like, maybe AI can do this for me, right? And so I downloaded the program and I put in all the words and a couple pictures of dragons that were kind of close to it. And I mean, it generated some images, but what I found interesting about it was like none of them had any depth or soul to them. And so, like, I don't have any objection to AI creating art and books and all the things. I mean, it's just another tool in the toolbox as an artist for how you create things. But there was almost no frequency in the drawings that it output. So on the line of technology, I decided to play with AI to see like what it would create through me. And it was just interesting because I felt nothing from it. And there was no interaction with that image for me.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Yeah, I think that when I'm listening to you explain this dragon, I can feel the frequency of it. I can feel the energy of it. I can feel that sparkly diamond light, like credentials sparkling in the sparkling in the scales, in the skin, in the being, right? That's radiating from that energetic dimensional frequency, seeding that energy to you, down to us, consequently through that dimensional frequency. Like millions of tiny diamonds sparkling on the water, shining in a song.
It was beautiful.
Light and sound and imagery and energy, right? That amazing. I feel it.
Yeah, it was so high pitched that I thought my ears were gonna like hurt the rest of the night. It was a very high frequency creature, very beautiful. I will try to draw it because the AI didn't do it for me, but I'll try to draw it and share it for you. I'll share some of the images that I did pull out of AI with y'all.
Absolutely. And you know what, Jen? Because I draw everything in black and white just with one pen. And then sometimes I use an app just to throw some color on it.
Mhm.
And what I found with Chocarius in particular, he only came to life when I put the color on it. So
Interesting.
I know that most of your dragons are you do use the pencil, but if you can you just throw them in an app and allow the app to, it's the same sort of thing as you would be pouring, because you don't necessarily, you just choose magic, this or that, you know, and then all of a sudden it becomes alive sometimes with the colors. So that could be something maybe to look at.
I will. I've been doing more pastels with them. I'll draw them in pencil and then I'll add pastel to them to add the color. But I'll happy to try the program. You know, Sean Bibby had taken some of my drawings and some of my sigils and loaded them into his AI program. And what they populated, like I could feel my frequency. I mean, they weren't the dragons, but like I could feel my frequency in it. And I loved some of the takes that they had on the sigils. So I think you can have different experience using different programs, and it depends on what you decide to enter into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting. Well, I think that hi Marissa, nice to see you here today. And Hermania and Alfredo, I can see you now. Does anyone else have anything to add, like their own dragon experiences?
I've got
Can you see?
some.
That's can you see it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What do I need to do? Here we go. That's one of Jen's dragons that she brought me. She came to Europe on her visit. And I got it near the fireplace. And of late it starts moving. When I sometimes look at it, you know, it's like, oh, okay, what's going on here? You know, it starts moving. So yeah. But that's a pour, right?
Yeah, that's an acrylic pour.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I had when I was doing my fire ceremony for the winter solstice, I just decided to like sit back and let the fire start to die down. So I was just laying back enjoying it. And I had a group of dragons that I hadn't worked with before that came in and were telling me a story, but they said it was important for me to say it out loud so that it would get recorded in my voice and in my frequency. And my neighbor interrupted me before they finished because he wanted to thank me for the Christmas cookies. But they were telling me the story about how the dragons have been here through all of the rises and falls of humanity and how they've seen this cycle happen like many, many, many times. And that we're in a graduation cycle now, and that there is kind of like an energy war that's going to take place in the unseen, and it's nothing for us to worry about. Like it doesn't involve us, so not to entangle with it, but like whatever happens in the unseen gets reflected in our world. So just to watch that objectively and unentangled. It's a real honor for them to work with us and to support us through those graduation cycles. Like I could feel like the depth of that time and that history and like the symbiotic relationship between them and us as they were communicating that. I thought that was worth sharing.
That makes sense. If we are in the middle, we spoil everything because we're going to come in with the emotion or the feeling and our experience. It's better that we are neutral in that process, from my point of view. My first experience with dragons really I think the one that I remember that was more precise, it was the one with one of my first ceremony with ayahuasca. It was very impressed because I was the whole ceremony working, and the way how I saw myself like it was absorbed by the dragons through the dragon mouth, and took me inside and released me through her belly or his belly. I don't know. You cannot put like sex, but the belly out, and it was very long process. I was able to get a very high level connection. And sometimes, you know, we go through life through you from one side to the other and having, you know, so many different experience. And lately last year, I believe, no, 2022, I did the fire, the 21st solstice fire. And there was a stick or one of the branch that I cut in the patio here in my house. And then it was a lot of snow at that time. And then I grabbed the stick. I said, I'm going to put in the fire because remember that Andrew said that in the fire you can bring the smoke or the steam. Doesn't matter what you use for the energy. And I want to put it inside the fire. Well, I saw in the way that how it is, like, you know, like you can see in the stick like the mouth, and then like the wind on the side, and then with the snow that was in the front, it was just like the head of the dragon. I said, oh no, I cannot do that to you. Then I put it next to the fire, and I sent the picture to one guy that he worked with the quantum family. They call the quantum family or one. And he said, wow. He said that it's definitely that's a dragon. It was formed from the nature, from the stick of the piece of the branch of the tree that was still kind greenish, not dry, and then the combination of the snow. And it was completely like a dragon. It was like, and any case, but sometimes I remember, sometimes just don't pay attention. It's like, you know, one of those things. And then with Matthias Stefan, when he made, I saw one of his videos when he said that everything that we're experiencing here and with different level of being or knowings or elementals, anything is us playing in different level. That's like you said in the beginning that, and Irene was saying to the, it just energy manifested in different level, and then it's the way how we understand it. We put in meanings and we put in figures. We can draw in, but it's the same energy like manifesting in different level for us to be interacting in this experience of life. Like Jen mentioned that she coming with that energy from 22 dimensions is the way how it's presenting to her as the same energy of the center of creation, but manifested in the way that we can understand it. That's what my taking away. In that case, it's like every regions, every country, every culture, they manifest it, they use it, they draw in the way how they perceive it. But it's just the same level of energy manifesting different narrative or what we have. What is our culture is what makes the difference, but it's the same energy in different colors or forms. And that's why for me, sometimes I feel myself like I turn off because it's so much stuff that, and sometimes I have myself my own doubt. I said, what to believe in this case? Because so much stuff. And then everybody receiving the way that they have to receive it, depending the job that they have to do here. Any case, that's my little 1 cent.
Yeah, but that's it,
I
isn't
love
it?
that.
That's it. We are making it up through ours, you know, through our intention choices that we're making, because the energy is all one. This is you know, we've been talking about this from a understanding, but now we're starting to experience it really, you know. And I think you're right. I mean, it's so important to actually not turn it off and really pay attention to these things. And I think the distraction sometimes it's so much, right? When we're still working, and then you have people around you and things like that. And it's like goes like this. Because
Yeah.
I know I got a lot of space and time on my own, and even that flies. When you speak to the unseen and play with the unseen, time is just like whoops at the moment, that non-linearity and that just disappearance of everything. I think that's why maybe, the dream world, we need to also focus on the dream world a bit more and see what we can play there.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it seems to me as we're splitting these timelines and the lower frequency energy is starting to, I don't know, like slip off. It almost feels like if you dip something in a viscous liquid and then you hold it up and it slides away. It almost feels like this lower frequency energy is just sort of sliding away. And this availability of this new energy where, the dragons are much more available to us. And I watched this Netflix documentary last night with my husband on the making of the song "We Are the World," and it was really fascinating. But as I was watching this, I'm continually keeping my channel of communication open for the dragons, and the dragons were saying, "We are the world. You are the world. We are you." And that like sense of oneness just was so, so palpable to me. And it comes with, an energetic feeling. It's like you can hear the words and know what the words mean, but then you know it in your heart, right? And it ripples through your consciousness and your body on a cellular level. Like when Jen was talking about the 22D platinum diamond dragon, right? That energy rippled through me on a cellular level, right? And I saw that dragon and I had the knowingness of its energy and the incalculable power that we can bring here now, grounded, on this earth. It's a part of us and we're a part of it. And as we dance with that energy, it ripples into the multiverse, right? And we're grounding it on earth and we're getting this energy more available for everyone. Like, think about the people that live next to you, right? You dream with those people, and that energy filters in to their dream time. I think about, like, I share a bed with my husband. I dream with him every night. And that energy, even though maybe he's not consciously aware of it, it's within him. And I can see the action that is taken right on his part that embodies that energy. Right. So even though it's not like a conscious thing for many people, there is an embodiment when there's an allowance for that.
And also, I think one needs to look at, Tanya, you were saying you've been working with them for a month now. So that's practice. So you work, it's not that they just pop in, continuously if you're not committed to it. You have to almost say, hey, guys, this is what we're going to do now. It's a bit like when I did my Kundalini breathing. I had to do this for 40 days every day, and I had to sit down and do that. And then it became easier and easier and all of that. So that's a commitment and a practice that we have to actually bring in. And it's a bit like, when I was talking to somebody the other day, and said the best way of learning a different language is to watch movies, or people speaking that. And it's a bit like what you said early on, watch movies with dragons, or read stuff, stories about dragons. And that's going to get you into that sort of, and it might be, I think, that you do it for a month and then it disappears, And that's okay, because maybe that's all you needed at the time to reconnect. And then it may come back or not, you know, that kind of thing. So that's the practice. It's not hardship, but it's a choice. And it's a fun choice.
Yeah, it's interesting. When I was reading the books Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. So it's about a dragon rider's academy. And that when the dragon riders have to go, the young ones who are coming through the academy have to go through a series of strenuous, training and tests, and then they get to walk past the dragons who are willing to bond with humans. And maybe they're going to bond with a dragon and maybe they're not. But once they do bond, they start hearing the dragon's voice. And then if the dragon is bonded to another dragon, they might also hear that dragon's voice or be able to communicate with that dragon. So it's interesting because there were things, right, in this particular story that the dragons withheld from humans, or that one dragon might withhold from another dragon, but all of the dragon law answered to the dragon council. And so I was like, after I read that, I was like, oh, why? Well, there's a dragon council. And then my dragon started saying, well, actually, now I'm a junior member of the Dragon Council now. And so, started translating information that I needed to know, or that I was allowed to know, from that Dragon Council. Right. But just the knowingness that there's a potentiality for that, right, allowed me to say, oh, I can connect with that energy. I'm aware of that energy, and now that energy is filtering into my consciousness. So, these people who are writing the stories, right, they're channeling in this information and making it tangible and making it available to us. So I think that's really exciting.
It is. It is. And I think, you can't force that, and Jen, she just posted a couple things there, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't force it. And also, don't beat yourself up if you don't have that connection, you're not so excited about it, because it's also a timing issue. For every soul has a different timing. I learned that in Access. It's always like, is now the time, instead of saying, oh, what's wrong with me? No, is now the time, to look at that. And just by asking that question, it could be the next day that it is the time, because you take that resistance away, you take that judgment away, and all of a sudden, okay, yeah, you might find one in a shop, on the market, see it in the fire, like we've just seen. Lots of those dragons show themselves in the fire, in the mist, in the clouds, like we said earlier on.
And I'm not sure about the cycles of availability, but it seems like the availability of the dragon energy sort of seems to go in a cycle. Like, I have this beautiful view from my front window of the Twin Peaks in San Francisco, which is basically the center of the San Francisco portal. And what I'll see often, right, I'm facing west, so then the energy comes from the ocean, and there's always air, right, that comes from the west with the tides, right? It's like the air comes in with the tide, and then it sort of flows out with the tide. And we get amazing skies here. And it seems like when there's open portals is when the dragons fly. So I can see the dragons flying, around the portal, through the sky, in the clouds, right? And it's just this amazing, like, energy. It makes the hair stand up, right, on my body when I see that, because I can energetically then feel, okay, wait, what's going on, right? And then I can tune into it, and be present with the energy of it. But it's so, it's so interesting right now, just going back to the galactic calendar and this intention that we're setting for the next year, that we're in also right now this 10-day open portal. So it's like a portal within a portal that opens us into this multidimensional connective experience that is just very exciting to me. Can't wait to see what happens next.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
what we create next, really.
as reality creators, they are portal creators as well. And as you were speaking, I'm thinking, well, we're all portals, really. So maybe what we can ask them to work with them to help us to become better portals, unentangled ones, using again, the technology to work with them. Yeah, there's a lot to be played with, those guys.
A lot to play with. Well, do you all want to do a little meditation to connect with your personal dragon?
Absolutely.
Great. Well, let's do that. So just start breathing nice and deeply. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel the divine heart of Earth Mother open up beneath you in your Earth Star chakra, a foot below your feet. And allow the earth energy to flow up into your body. And allow your source code energy to flow down through you, through your soul star chakra, foot above your head, your crown, into your heart, meeting the energy of Mother Earth's heart within your heart. You take a deep breath within your presence, within your own energy. Begin to be aware of now the air around you. And the air moving in and out of your lungs connects with the energy of the air of Mother Earth, the energy of the East, of new beginnings, that energy of the dragon. And allow now, as you listen to the sounds of the room, feel the flow of air around you. Allow the air to ruffle your hair, just like a bird might ruffle her feathers. And as you breathe, begin to set an intention of connection. I ask my dragon to make itself known to me, to be present with me in my energy field, to support me. And as you call forth the presence of this mighty beam of light, being of light, from the gold order of the Seraphi, who's been your guide and protector, begin to see and feel the colors shimmering around you. Feel a spiraling energy coming up from the earth around your body. Feel a spiraling energy of glittery, sparkly, golden light that flows through you, through your chakra channel from your source code, down through your body into the earth, anchoring like an acupuncture pin. And as your primal source code energy flows into earth, and earth energy flows into your body, as we're connecting these dimensional realities within our being, begin to see light and color and hear sound flowing around you. Visualize yourself now walking down a spiral staircase into the center of the earth. And you can see shining crystals all around you, as if you're walking down into a crystalline cave of energy. And as you walk into this crystalline cave of energy that is within you, but also within Earth, begin to connect to that little baby fetus in the womb who was you, that primary spark of spirit that animated your little body and caused you to grow in your mother's womb into a human. Begin to feel now the energy that evolved alongside of you, that witnessed you, that guided you, that's continually guided you from childhood into adulthood. And as you sit within this sparkling crystal cave, you can feel that energy now approaching you. And you can hear whispers of wind and feathers, the rustle of movement coming towards you. The energy spirals around you. You begin to see light shining in the darkness. You begin to feel warmth. And you can see two eyes looking at you. Two shining bright eyes shining out of the darkness, gazing upon you playfully, gently, lovingly. Begin to hold out your hand now and allow this being of color and light and sound and magic, of air and fire, of water and metal and wood and earth to begin to approach gently. And as this dragon comes closer to you, you can feel it begin to envelop your energy field, to spiral around you, holding space for your growth and development. And so now, send out an inquiry. What is your name? And it might be a very long, confusing name that you'll never be able to remember. But there's a shorter name, a nickname. So allow that short name or long name to record in your Akashic record and anchor down into earth, to anchor into your knowingness. And now there's a little more light in the crystal cavern, and you're able to see the shining skin and scales of the dragon like flashes of light. What color or colors are showing to you? And as you breathe, continue to breathe deeply in your body. You're becoming aware of the physical and non-physical nature of this being before you, around you, within you. And as you reach out your hand, you can touch the scales of the dragon. You can feel the divine softness and hardness at the same time, the smoothness and roughness. You can feel the energy of kindness and love and support. And so your dragon now has a gift for you. It's going to be a little bit different for everyone. So allow now, you can hold out both of your hands and receive the gift that your dragon has for you. It can be something physical. It can be a word. It can be a book or a crystal. Be open to what the dragon is giving you, because this will help to activate your wisdom and also allow your deeper connection with this being of elemental light and sound, a being that dances through dimensions and is showing up here for you. Allow the joy in your heart to burst forward, feeling the connection and feeling the energy. And as you stand now, the dragon is going to lead you deeper into the cave. And as you follow this being of magic, of manifestation, of prosperity and luck and courage and intelligence, you begin to activate your deeper knowingness and intelligence on a cellular level just by being in the presence of this glorious being. And the dragon leads you now into an open space, to an underground ocean where waves lap up upon the shores, and there's crystalline starlight shining from an immense cavern of light. And as you look around, you can see now other dragons. We can see all of our beingness who have come to this place today to witness this sacred space of dragon lore, this sacred meeting place of dragons on the shore of this underground sea. And the beach sparkles with glitter, crystalline sand, shining diamond light. The dragons all dance together in a flow of oneness. And if you feel so inclined, you can begin to dance with your dragon. Dance and flow with its energy. Recognize the deep knowingness and comfort that this being elicits from you. There's a knowingness and a connection of this being that's watched you grow, that's witnessed you as a being of light in a human body through your journey of life. And just feel the love and compassion this being has for you. Feel that feeling of home, the feeling of comfort, the feeling of knowingness within you. And as you dance, the joy rises up within you from all the dragons and becomes a giant ball of light. containing the energy of all of us and all of our dragons dancing together. So we're creating this ball of white, gold, glittery, sparkly, iridescent liquid plasma light that is a knowingness and an energy that will ground within us. And that light bursts now into 1,000,000 pearls that rain down upon the beach. So you can pick up one of these pearls and put it in your pocket or put it in your heart as a memory of this journey of light and sound and love and joy, of creation and awareness. So take a deep breath into your body now and allow the dragon to lead you back through the cavern from whence you came and up the spiral staircase back into your own body awareness. And as you breathe into your body, remember the name that your dragon has given for you to call upon at any time. You can wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes and very slowly come back to your awareness.
That was stunning. That was beautiful, Tanya.
Thank you.
you. Thank you.
Thank our dear dragons who really guided that.
Very nice. I yawned a lot.
Mm.
My dragon was blue and light blue and emerald green.
Mm.
And I shape shifted into it. So I became a dragon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then when you asked for the gift, for some reason, I had a fish in my hands.
Mm.
Live fish.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what I'm going to do with the fish. And when we left and went to the beach, I had to take the fish and put it into the water.
Mm.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I had quite a Tanya, I love that. In fact, I'm gonna listen to it again tonight at home, where I don't have so many distractions around me. But there are quite a few dragons that circled around me, and they would expand out like fire, and it would, I don't know, undulate in and out. But the dragon that presented itself to me started out as black, and then it flipped all of its scales, like that character in X-Men that like all of her scales turn blue, you know, and then she goes back to human. And it was that rainbow 22D dragon. So like she can disguise herself and flip back and forth. So that was interesting. I don't know how I'm gonna draw that, but
Draw the feeling of it instead of trying to draw the thing.
yeah, that takes the
Draw
pressure off.
the emotion of it. Yeah.
I love that. And I got presented with a ruby.
Ah.
I'll let somebody else talk.
Robbie, that's a very strong energy, Jen. Robbie. One time when I was to Jackson Hole, I had that experience with the energy. Robbie, energy.
Amazing. I was presented with an emerald. It almost looked like an emerald heart. And then I was also presented with an axe. And I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with that, but it's going to be part of my toolbox now, my etheric toolbox.
Yeah, it's nice that you mentioned the emerald because today the sun was hitting in my front of my house in the yard. I have some like a spiral, you know, hanging in the front. It was projecting a emerald color. I said, "Oh my goodness, emerald! I need you right now. Thank you for coming here." It was like a sparkling, just emerald color, and it's the crystal is white. The sparking from the heat from the sun, it was completely emerald sparkling light.
Mm.
Very powerful energy.
Amazing. Do you have any insights that you want to share, Alfredo?
Oh yeah. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, it was awesome because I I appreciate it because I was making visual meditations for a long time and I quit doing it because I'm doing the breathing meditation. But like when you started talking about, it's like, oh, we're going into the crystal cavern. And I was like, oh yeah, I was always creating this for a while, and like I always visualized like my being the fetus within this beautiful crystal cavern. So it was kind of like a revisit of that and like just more in depth, but yeah, it was awesome. Very cool. Yeah, I love the feels and the vibes, and I got to see a little bit more than usual. Oh yeah, and then I was like, it's like the name of the dragon's like Isha, you know, just yeah, bunch of cool things going on. I'm actually out here crystal hunting right now because I just I like to buy crystals, but crystals cost money, so I'm just like I like to find my own crystals, and I found a few goodies. Of course, the dragon gave me a big old, big ass quartz, like a white quartz crystal. Yeah, no, it was a cool journey. It's good stuff. I'm gonna revisit too later on, when I get into a deeper state. Yeah, thanks, Tanya.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, that's a space that you can go to right anytime to connect. And when you get familiar with the energetic, right, then it's just an instant connection.
Yeah. Once you go through experience, then you can like match that frequency again. Yeah, the dragon. I know it's from the beginning, but like I'm kind of dragons. It's such a powerful energy because for a while, when Andrew released the dragon revocation invocation, like I was very egotistical back then. I was like, oh, I can handle the dragons. I got this, and I'd be doing dragon revocation invocation every day, and it taught me some lessons because it's some energy I don't, I can feel it when it comes in because to me it's like a hyperactive, hyper creative state, just like energetic roller coaster. But I don't call on them like I did back then because like it sent me through energy roller coasters. Like, oh, you want to hang out with us? And it's just like it's just this intense energy embodiment. I'm just like, all right, I don't want to be playing because the only time I do is when I'm higher frequency, high vibing. But if I'm not able to match that frequency, I don't go calling on them because it could definitely, I don't know. I just feel the energetic embodiment more than anything. I don't really see them. I mean, I had a few dreams with some dragons that show up and stuff like that, but I don't know. It's always an energy thing, embodied energy thing that I feel that hyper creativity. So yeah, yeah, that's it.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
I love that. That's thanks for sharing that, Alfredo, because you see that really honors the energy of it. And it's not every day that we can handle it. And I think that's really, I think that's a good point you're making there. Sometimes it can be too overpowering, I'm sure. I like that. Choose when it works and when it doesn't. I like that.
Oh yeah, I got deep respect for them. Deep.
Yeah, I think that's where. Do you have Alfredo? You were in the seminar. The one of the Andrew. He did 3 with the dragons. I think he did 2 when he was in Bermuda, I think. And then he did another one. He had in his website, there are 3 workshop that he did about the dragons. It was very interesting. I think that's when my light language becomes very integrated. That he said that it's like an awareness that be sure that you are willing to do the job, do your work, your cleaning work, because not the dragon was gonna burn you out. It's very powerful. I did a study that he has. Maybe I go back and review it again because it was very powerful. I think that was when I integrate my light language.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I think it's
Nice.
important too, right, to just be aware of your own direct connection with that, right? So as you're sitting, you know, for me, it's always important and a daily practice, right, to make sure that I'm grounded and connected and my source code light is anchored to earth. And, you know, we talked about anchoring in different ways, right? Grounding in different ways last week, which really expanded my awareness in like the ability to sit in different energy places and be grounded. But I think for, you know, my purposes as a human incarnated on earth, I'm meant to be grounded here and anchored right here on with Earth Mother, right? And as I do that, and as I'm aware of that, I can be aware of my source code light energies flowing through and anchoring and working like a conduit, right, to bring these energies in. So, I mean, before I connect to any energies, I always connect to my own energy, right? So I know where I am within that.
Yeah.
That's very good remind. Yeah.
It's energy mindfulness, you know, because it's like everything else. We have to learn, and we have to learn to how to work and be mindful about energies, you know, especially now where we're going into this place of, you know, acknowledging ourselves as portals. And knowing that, I think, what's his face? Matthias said it in his meditation. He said, look, you're in charge. Nothing is going to come in if you don't allow it, right? You know, that's empowered, because we're empowered beings now. We can't just say, oh, we need to protect ourselves because something is, you know, after us. Well, no, it's your levels of awareness is your biggest protection. That's what it is. And once the boundaries are going, it's not that we just drop all the boundaries all of a sudden. No, now we are one and now take me. No, it's not that. You can only drop your boundaries with total awareness and knowing what's going on and seeing what, you know, if we go back into the good and the bad energies as such. Of course, energy is not good or bad, but there are intentions, good and bad intentions. And we mustn't judge them, because the judgment in itself bites us in the ass, because that's the entanglement. And this is this whole key issue, right? Yeah, Marissa says lovely meditation, and it was. Thank you so much. Brilliant.
Thank you.
Are we all set up for the evening?
Yeah.
Amazing
Okay.
job, Tanya. It's awesome.
Thank you.
It's badass.
Well, you know, so think about again, you know, what your intentions are, what you want to explore this year of the dragon. What are you waking up to? Right? And what are you grounding? Think about the energy of the tree, of the new beginnings, that perpetual springtime, that excitement of the buds springing forth from the ground, because this is that wood energy that this dragon is bringing this year. So, you know, allow yourself to stay in that universal watery flow, right, of new beginnings and that flow of light and sound and color and fire, right, and inspiration. So I think it's going to be a really fun, exciting year. I can't wait to see what happens. So yeah, starting Saturday.
Yeah, you remind me the Sequoia Park in San Francisco. the sequoia part, that when you mentioned that we connected with the trees and those huge monster tree that they have in that park.
Amazing. The
amazing.
sequoias are amazing. They're
Mm,
yeah, and the redwoods, the coastal redwoods are so amazing also.
mhm.
I loved listening to that podcast that Jen posted, and I will post it also you know, after the link, after Martina posts the link,
Yes,
because I think
do.
it's well worth
I
listening
missed that
to.
one. Yeah.
Because one of the things that this lady Z was talking about was in times past,
Mhm,
all of the giant ancient trees
mhm,
that created cloud cities around them in which the
mhm,
dragons lived. And then once those trees were cut or diminished and the energy fell in frequency, a lot of the dragons sort of just went to sleep, right?
mhm.
To hold space for this time now at the beginning of this next solar cycle. So, you know, maybe that's a
Yeah.
different, that's a
Thank
whole
you.
nother discussion.
Yeah.
Especially,
She's-
yeah.
Thank you for sharing. She's very good. I have followed her last year for a little bit, and thank you, Jen, for share that. She's brings something very unique. Mm-hmm.
Very unique, as each one of us do as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
But-
thank you for participating today. It's really great to see everyone's faces and just sending you all lots of love.
Lots of dragon breaths. I'm gonna post this, and do me a favor, guys. Thanks for hosting, Tanya. Beautiful topic, beautiful meditation. Thank you very much. Do me a favor, underneath, once I posted it, think of the fish that I was given and had to put into the water, because I'm being asked for your contribution, what that would have meant to any of you, because that fish was connected to all of us. All right.
Mhm.
Thank you so
Great.
much. See you next
Thank
week.
you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
I
Thank
have
you.
a good one.
Bye.